What's up, guys? Kind of a warm day here today in September. Sun's bright as usual. Yeah. Anyway, got an IROC here today. No, it's not LS swapped. Man, that's a tune port. Doing this as a favor for a friend. I usually don't do burning stuff, you know, like burning chips and stuff. It just, especially like remote, it takes forever. People usually don't want to buy the right stuff. If you're running into issues, it's really hard to diagnose them. It's just not fun. So I don't mind doing one in person. It's not my specialty. I've tuned maybe 5 tune port engines in my life. This one has a cam in it, some shorty headers and exhaust, and this really junky air intake. Like, that's terrible. So I've actually been messing with it for about a day. I was actually trying to get it to run correctly. This thing, it had like a major stumble. It was terrible. It had header leaks. I fixed those already. The reason it has a stumble is this MAF scaling's way off because of this stupid intake. So this is a terrible intake. It's probably gonna not put a lot of power down. I don't have a dyno anyway. It's got SLP runners on it. I think it's a 350. It's got 30-pound injectors in it, new cap rotor, wires, blah, blah, blah. It sounds good and stuff. It's actually nice and quiet under here. We just need to go dial in and drive it. So this tune does need work. It's either that or it has a mechanical issue because I'm barely tapping the gas and it wants to die. But you can power through it, so I'm gonna have to data log it and put the wideband on it and all that stuff and go mess with it. Yeah, it is not happy. So let me get my laptop and let's see if we can hook up to it with my ALDL cable. This one's a chip-based PCM. It's an 89. It's an 89 only tune, so it's like a $6E, whatever OS that is. I don't know. I had to find an XDF for it. I found that. The XDF was super just thrown together, not organized whatsoever. I had to go ahead and organize everything so I wouldn't get lost in the damn thing trying to look for certain tables. So these are MAF only cars. They don't have a map sensor. I don't think they do. I'm about 99% sure they don't, because I didn't see any kind of VE table on it. I just saw MAF. I want to say 90 they did it, or 91. I know 91, 92 for sure has speed density only. I'm not sure about 90. Somebody might know more than I do. So I've tuned a handful of these cars, like maybe 5 in my lifetime. Like, honestly, I don't have a lot of tuning experience with a tune port, but it is a small block. I'm gonna treat it like an LT1, where it's gonna like a certain amount of timing, probably more than an LT1, because the heads are not as efficient. It actually has knock sensors, or sensor one. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and tune this thing. I got my wideband hooked up to it. It's acting crazy right now. I'm gonna reset it. All right. I don't like tuning these with just their stock O2 sensor. It's literally a single wire, non-heated unit, and it's a piece of shit. Yeah, it's okay to data log it, you know, it'll still do fuel trims and stuff, but I don't think it's accurate at all. So we're gonna literally drive this thing around, and I'm gonna look and see. So it's lean as hell right there. All right, I'm gonna richen that up. Got richer right there. But yeah, we're gonna fix this whole thing up. It's gonna be a nice driving car. The customer complained that it didn't drive good, and it didn't. It had exhaust leaks. I fixed those. Somebody put these headers on and put the copper Mr. gaskets on there, and they just leaked. So I took them off, put a bunch of copper seal RTV around them, put them back on there, and they don't leak. So good deal. That'll work. So now it's nice and quiet. Doesn't sound like a damn 1977 school bus struggling going up a hill now. It sounds pretty good. We're an old farm truck. Sorry about your farm truck, guys. But Yeah, this one, it shouldn't be that hard now. I literally struggled with this thing, man, for a good 4 hours, trying to get it to not stumble on tip-in. I didn't record any of that because I was literally in my driveway, flashing and swapping the chip and all that stuff, just sitting there, flashing it, putting it in there, starting it, letting it come down, and then revving it like right off idle, and just getting it perfect, because that was the biggest issue with it. Everything else actually did pretty, okay with it, I guess, So, yeah, we're literally just gonna go drive it, just make sure it drives good, and probably do a couple water pulls, make sure it's safe, and send it on its way to the customer. Probably not a long video. I'll show you guys how to burn a chip. I'll show you what's inside of one of these PCMs. There's really not a lot to it. Everybody thinks they're black magic. There's really not a lot going on in there. But they're tunable. I wouldn't want to tune like a really hot setup with one. You might as well just try to 0411 swap this son of a bitch or something. Like, I ain't doing it. No, I'm good. The computer's too dumb to really make a decent amount of adjustments, You can't really data log too much of it. You can use Data Master, but like, the program sucks ass. I don't like it. So, you can take that with a grain of salt too if you want. I don't really care. But yeah, let's go dial this sucker in. Makes me miss my IROC. I had an 85. It was a 305 car though. T-tops leaked. Yeah. Man. It didn't sound like that. Mine was louder than this though. This one sounds pretty good though. This one's got a lot more torque than what mine had. Mine was a dog. It was a turd. Old 305 with some 342 gears and like chunky headers and a really crappy cam. And I was in such a rush. I didn't order the right valve springs for it, and it still had push-in studs. Believe it or not, it lived. It did not like anything above 5,000 RPM. It would valve float really bad, and you could just feel it. It would hit a wall. So, yeah, that was back in my young and dumb days. Learned to not do that anymore. When I sold it, it still ran, and the guy beat the shit out of it every day, and it still lived. Last time I saw that car, somebody slid into a pole with it on the passenger side. I saw it at when Blockbuster was still open. I saw it at a Blockbuster video, and I was like, that's my car. And I kind of cried a little bit, because that was my baby. Even though it was a piece of shit. I really liked the car. It was fun. Really got me into modifying cars, really, and F-bodies, so that's... Oh, don't die on me, Jesus. We gotta get some gas in this thing. I don't know how accurate this gas gauge is, so we're gonna go find a gas station real quick. I guess we'll touch base on something. I know a lot of you guys follow me on Facebook, and I know I post a ton of memes about like LS swapping stuff and all, like I really jab fun at it a lot. What are you guys doing? Come on. Anyway, I don't have anything against LS swaps. I'll tell you that right now. I don't. I don't understand the concept of like running and driving an LT1 car, like a 92 vet through like a 96 vet, and then a 93 through 97 F body. Like I don't understand the concept of buying that and LS swapping it. I don't. It's a lot of money. Like it's not just a $500 swap like everybody thinks they are. It's a lot of money, and to me, when somebody says LS swap, they're literally talking about some 120,000 mile 5.3. When's the last time you saw 120,000 mile GMT 800? Shit, it's been years. And half the time they do it half-assed. They'll use this Chinese harness, a bunch of Chinese junk parts, and then some junk cam that doesn't work really good, and it'll lay down a solid 330 horsepower to the wheels. You mean like LT1 numbers? That's what I don't get, Now, dude, if you have a built, boosted, whatever laying around, hell yeah. Cool, I'm all about it, You can boost the LT, but honestly, it is easier to boost an LS. I don't know about swapping over to a damn,
you know, from an LT to one. Now, if you get a roller, hell yeah, go for it. Screw it. I mean, them damn engines are a dime a dozen, you know, and all that information's out there. A cookie cutter, everything. You can literally piece together something by somebody else's build and probably get the same damn numbers. Pretty simple. But like I said, I don't have anything against LS swaps. I really don't. Now, if somebody wanted to do like a nasty NA62 with some nice rectangle ports and a GPI stage 4 cam, no fly cut, hell yeah. That's a 500 horsepower engine, and reliable. Hell yeah. I mean, it would take a lot of money to do that to an LT. It really would. But again, it would still take a lot of money to 6.2 swap the damn thing too, because 6.2s aren't cheap. Unless you get a damn good deal on one. That's just my argument with it. Again, I really don't have anything against LS swaps. You can do what the hell you want. I don't care. You're gonna pay me to tune it, so it's fine with me. I'm gonna make it as fast as I can, put my damn names on it. That's why. It's gonna be as reliable as possible too. Like this car, they didn't LS swap it because it's cool already. It's got a 350 tune port in it. It doesn't need to be, you know, a 600 horsepower monster. It's a solid 250 horsepower, no tire burning some bitch. That's what it is. It's just a cool car. Yeah, I mean, not everything needs an LS swap, you know. Hell, I'd probably try to hop up the tune port here, put a set of aluminum heads on it and like a short ram intake. That would actually help a ton with this thing. They get rid of the low end punch with it because of the tune port, but yeah, with the short ram, you get a ton of RPM with it. So nasty cam with some aluminum heads. These things already had pretty decent compression, so might as well just take advantage of it, you know. Make it spin to $6 grand instead of running out of breath at 4,500. Anyway, I'm gonna put some gas in this little bitch. I don't know how accurate the gauge is, and then let me burn the chip. I'm gonna I'll take the camera down and I'll show you guys what to adjust on it. I'm really gonna richen it up on the top end like 15%, just to give me a cushion, because I have no clue what I messed with all kinds of tables in there, and then I'd rather it be rich than lean, so to start off with, and then we'll lean it up from there. So let's get some fuel in it. Okay, so on one of these, that PCM is actually mounted up in here, so I just laid it on the ground right here. You can see the inside of it. This is a MIMCAL adapter. That's actually the chip, and that's the MIMCAL right there. All you gotta do is just undo these right here. Everything pulls out. So I don't like just pulling these zip sockets out, or these chips, because the zip socket itself will actually bend those little arms. You notice there's actually a provision for a chip right here. This one actually had a Hypertech chip in it. You don't need this part right here, because your MIMCAL is these two things, I assume, and then your tune is on this right here. So this is a flashable chip. I'm going to take it out, put it in this burner right here. I'm going to get it set up and I'll show you how to burn a chip. All right, so we got this program called Flash and Burn by Boosted NW. I have it plugged in right now to the little pocket burner. Got the chip. You want to face it like this. You want the notch facing up, and then all the way down right there. You want the flush in down there. Plug it in, install the drivers. All the drivers are on their website. It's connected. It tells you what kind of chip's in it. So this is a 27 SF512. There's actually multiple chips you can actually read only, because they're not flashable, but it's going to do everything for you. So we are going to read this chip because it's actually a decent tune to start with, and just in case I have something screwy somewhere in a file. And it doesn't take long, you can see. Excuse the traffic noise there. I'm sitting at the gas station doing this. Unsaved file. Okay, so save buffer. So the buffer is actually what's in the burn software right now. So I'm just gonna save it, and then we're gonna just overwrite this really damn close one, because I haven't made a folder for it yet. So we're gonna do that, and then now we're gonna go over here to Tuner Pro, and then we're gonna open up that file that I just saved. So number 3. All right, so I organized everything on my end right here. Everything was actually just listed just like this, and it was such a pain in the ass to deal with. So right now we're just after fueling. This one has 2 math tables in it. One's a scalar, and then one's the actual table. I'm just using the regular table here. I'm not messing with the scalar stuff, so that's all stock. So I know damn well that wide open throttle is going to be in these 80 to probably 200 grams a second. So I am going to multiply this by 15. So we're going to go in here, 1.5, multiply that whole damn table by 15. I'm going to do this one right here. That's number 4. By we'll do 8 on that one. That sounds good. And then we need to open up number 5, and then we're gonna do 15 on this one, because again, I have no clue what the AFR is going to be, and I don't want to chance it. So do that, execute, boom. All right, and then you got PE and all that stuff. So I've got it, commanding like a 13.0 air fuel. So we're gonna save this file right here, and then we're going to reopen it right here, load file to buffer, boom, and then we're going to write the chip, and it'll erase the chip, and then it'll write it, and it really takes no time at all. You literally, like, when it's done, you just unclamp it, you put it in here, and then put it in there, ready to rock and roll, and go for another rip. Alright. Okay. Whew, man, it's getting warm out here. Okay, so I didn't change any idle fueling, which that was actually what I was struggling with this entire time. Damn, I need some new seatbelt things. It literally didn't want to cooperate, so I took like a ton of fuel out of it, and it finally just started acting right. So, all right, our sensor's warmed up here. Let's get out of here, and then get to a spot and we'll make a hit. All right, half throttle, it already feels like it has a lot more balls, so I think we're going in the right direction here. Check this wide band, and we'll just make a little hit here. I don't think it's going to spin or anything, so oh yeah. What more do you want? Pretty much on the money. I'm kind of glad I added that, because it was right at the 12.9. So I'm really glad I added that fuel. Wow. Super soft transmission too, but just a cruiser. He just wanted it running right, so it's safe. Good to go. So I'm gonna cruise this a little bit more, see if it tries to die on me anymore, and then make some minor adjustments. This thing cruises really nice, actually. Like, it's pretty comfortable. It ain't rough at all. If you've never driven one of these cars, I highly recommend it. There's nothing like that view. It's not the fastest thing in the world, but it is a cool car. They have a lot of potential too. Like, these things handle like they're really good handling cars. They're pretty comfortable. I like them. I like their gens. All right, so we got wide open throttle dialed in. It's pretty rare for me to actually do it on the first try. I mean, you're not gonna get it perfect. I don't care how many times you tune one or blah blah blah. Like I said, I'm glad I added the 15% fuel at wide open throttle, because it would have been lean as hell. So I'm legitimately making minor adjustments to the idle thing, and that's it. Like, I'm done with it. So good deal. So in tuning with these, you really got to mess with the idle tables. You'll kind of, like, when you get in there, if you know about IAC counts and all that stuff, you'll know what to do. So this one's got an aftermarket Holly throttle body on it, so I was lucky enough to kind of crank it up a little bit and then kind of mess with it. So yeah, red light, dude. Stupid ass. Anyway, math tables, they're really again, they're MAF only. So if you don't have a MAF, or if you have MAF problems, it's not going to run good. So it's kind of the bad thing about not having a blended system. Like if that sensor just goes bad, you're dead in the water. So I guess it's the same thing as, you know, having a speed density setup too. If that sensor goes bad, you're just kind of dead in the water. Timing wise, these things like 35 just and on up. I think this one's set at like 38 right now. I just copied a Corvette table over, and it seems to be working just fine. At idle, I bumped up the timing to 22 degrees, and I had to mess with some transient fueling too. So a lot of injector like Excel pulse width stuff, to get it to not bog like on slight tip in, because it was really bad. Like, I mean, it would just, oh, it was terrible. So I can't explain it. It was just really bad. Just think of a lean bog on a car that just goes so I'll have to I'll take the camera down and I'll show you exactly what I changed and stuff. They're way different than an LT or an LS, especially when it comes to you know, how everything's laid out and then what does what. You just kind of need to know what you're doing. You know, I had to read a lot about tuning tune ports before I even touched this thing. Gearheadefi.com is a really good website for this old stuff. I found the XDF file for Tuner Pro. I found a bunch of stock bin files that you can go off of, anything from an F body to a Y body, 6-speed Y bodies, F bodies with different gears in the back, etc. They're tunable. They're just a pain in the ass, and you're gonna need a wideband. Don't depend on just the narrow band. This thing's very archaic. This thing is old, but it works. So it is what it is. There's like 2 different things for adjusting the size of the injectors. You can. This thing's got an adjustable fuel pressure regulator, so I had to mess with that too to get it just right. So it's quite a fiasco. So if you ever wonder why I don't remote tune 93 chip cars, this is why. It's a major pain in the ass. First, a lot of people, like, I will give them an entire list of stuff to purchase, and then they'll be like, okay, let me get this stuff and I'll get right back to you. Ghost. Nothing. Okay, well, I mean, I've tried. I legitimately tried. So I just don't try anymore. I just don't do it. It's kind of expensive. I mean, hell, I think that burner's 140 bucks. The chips are 20 bucks a piece. You technically only need one, but I get 2 just in case one breaks. You need the MemCal adapter if you don't have one already. You need a laptop, you need a wideband, you need all that stuff. Otherwise, you're just kind of guessing and pissing in the wind. Oh, well, he's got a cammed 93, just use his tune. Go for it, I don't care. It's probably not going to be correct. But yeah, like I said, there's a lot to it. Yeah, enough ranting. Let's, I'm gonna pull over right up here, and then I'll show you like a before and after of what I changed. So I'll show you all the stuff I can tune. Oh yeah, half throttle. And this thing needs a Def Leppard cassette tape. Just, oh man, that'd be awesome. I like this car, it's cool. I'd change the gauges. That's probably in the wheels. I'd put some IROC wheels on it. Single vanes. I don't like the dual vane ones because they made those in a 16 and a 15. I don't like those. I like the single vane, like the I think it was 85 through 87 they made the single vane ones. I like those. Mick. Anyway, enough ranting. Let's get back to tuning. All right, so got everything dialed in. I just made some minor IROC-Z adjustments. I didn't record it or anything, so whatever. I'll show you guys here in a little bit. But I promise I'll show you. Okay. This is the part where I tell you what I would change on this thing. First, these gauges. They gotta go. They gotta go. You gotta put them old ones back in there, man. Needles. Put those in there. The one that had a 145 speedometer from the factory. I think this one came with 80. I think I'll see it back there. So that would be first and foremost. Oh my God, T-top shades. I'd have to make something to cover that up. That's bad. I got them in my car. I love T-top shades. I'd take off the. It's got these taillight covers. They're black. That's just a rear end accident waiting to happen. I'm good. And maybe your cup of tea, but I'm good. I tint the windows better. Stick shift swap it. Yes, I would stick shift swap this thing. If I could find a cheap T5 or a LT1 T56, definitely go for that. It would be much more enjoyable to drive. Put a set of gears in the back, like a 390 or something. It'd be mint. This thing would be perfect. It's got decent power and stuff, you know. It's not a rocket, but like it would be such a fun car to drive around, you know, like a stick shift. Or if you're really adamant on keeping the automatic, put a converter in it. Like this one, I probably wouldn't go anything past like a 3000. It just doesn't have the top end to breathe, you know. It's not like an LT1. Now, if you had a mini Ram intake on it and a nice set of heads and a better cam, yeah, I would probably do like a 3500 and a really steep gear, and it would probably run like an LT1 with the similar mods, I think. You know, like these are old iron heads, so if you put a set of aluminum heads on it, it'd probably wake it up quite a bit, because it is just a 9-to-1 or 9.5-to-1 350. It's nothing special. The recipe is out there. But that's what I would honestly do to it, man, and just enjoy driving this thing. Like it drives really good. It's smooth. Like my IROC was a piece of shit compared to this thing. This thing's nice. Like I like this car a lot. It doesn't rattle. Like the AC doesn't work, but that's easily fixed. That ain't nothing. Hell, I'd even keep the tune port motor in it. I wouldn't even care, man. Like I said, I would just stick shift swap it and just enjoy it. Just have fun with it. Not everything needs an LS swap, see? It can still be cool. Gotta have a little character, you know? Anyway, let me get to the house. I'll pull out my laptop, I'll show you guys what I changed in the tune. If you have any questions about tune port stuff, I can try to answer stuff. Not a lot of people tune these things anymore. A lot of people who do, they just do it for themselves, and they're actually pretty good to learn from too. There's a lot of stuff on thirdgen.org that says to what tables to touch and stuff under certain parameters and all that stuff, so it kind of gives you a good guideline. Take it with a grain of salt though, because if you just change those parameters to whatever they have, it's not just going to work for yours. It may or may not. You're really just going to have to play with it. So, again, you need a wideband and all that stuff, and you need to know what the hell you're doing. But yeah, let me get to the house real quick, and I'll show you what I changed. Okay, so this is a cammed tune port, real small cam. You can see it was tuned by Fast Chips. That's Ed Wright. So it's got a 218, 228 cam in it. I guess the original owner was Ryan Harrow. 30-pound injectors. This looks like December 4th, 2012. So that's the original one, but it's corrupt. So not a big deal. It wasn't Ed's fault or anything. It just happens. So didn't change any of the power enrichment versus temp. Or actually I did, I'm sorry. There's my numbers. We got startup enrichment. I didn't touch that one, I don't believe. A lot of the stuff that I saw that really affected like the lean tip-in was like mainly the MAF tables. I didn't really have to touch too much of the acceleration enrichment stuff, but a majority of it is because that damn intake is a piece of shit. So I had to go down here to the MAF scaling. You can see I had to lean it up quite a bit. So we went from like a 23 grams a second to down to a 13. That's how much that thing's getting choked down because of that stupid ass intake. And then here on the second table, I went down from, I mean, you can just see the difference there. I mean, it's a massive difference just to get the fueling correct. Otherwise, it was just over fueling. So don't put anything like that on the intake. But you can just, like I said, you can see what the hell I had to do. I had to lean the ever-living shit out of it just to get it to run. And I have it set at 38-pound injectors too on top of that. Oh wait, cancel. I didn't mean to copy it. But yeah, I mean, I have it set on 38-pound injectors instead of 30s. And they are legit Ford red top 30-pound injectors. And that's how much I had to just lean the ever-living shit out of it to get it to run correctly. Spark table, I had copied a just a vet table. So they run about 42 degrees, just light load, you know, just driving around and stuff. So it's pretty light on its feet. It's not getting any ping or knock or anything. And I wide open throttle, you know, they're at 26 all the way to the 35-ish. So kind of like on par with an LT1, really. Now, I don't run that much timing on an LT1 as far as like driving around. I'll go up to like 40, you know, but just under light loads. And then idle, I have it set at 750, 775 at 306 degrees. It's never going to reach that, so yeah. I didn't have to mess with any of the idle adder except this one. I lowered it down about 10. It was doing just stupid shit, so I had to do that. I increased this right here. Ed had it set down at like 500 or whatever, so I just copied it down. I copied this F body one right here, and it worked out perfectly. Otherwise, it would try to it would start up and it would immediately try to just drop down the idle, and it would just freak out and then start hovering and surging real bad. So rev limiter, I didn't touch it. It's a 6500. That's where Ed had it set at. So this car don't even pull that hard. So I probably would set that thing at 6, honestly. I kept the I lowered the max, or I increased the max temp of idle learning. It was at 212 max. I've seen that this car actually will drive around the highway at like 217. So I increased it to 220. So the IAC keep alive learning temp will still work instead of trying to die on me, because I think that was actually the main issue with it, was that. I did the anticipate, I think. Nope, I didn't do that one. I did something else in this damn thing too. Like I said, this is way different than. Oh yeah, the keep alive motor steps. I increased it by 20. So everything else I left alone. I just increased these by 10 or by 5 right here. So the warm IAC steps versus coolant temp. So that's pretty much all I did really. And then just mess with the fueling on the maps. Everything else I left it alone. So not really a lot to do. I mean, it's tunable, but like, God, it's a pain in the ass. Oh, maximum airflow versus RPM. I changed this to 255, just across the board. Stock, they're actually kind of increased, but this thing's never going to reach 255 grams a second from off idle. There's no way on God's green earth. But I was really legitimately messing with stuff to get rid of that lean bog, but it actually wasn't a lean bog, it was a rich bog. So I just left it. It ain't gonna hurt anything. So yeah, if you want to see more of this stuff, just like, comment, do whatever, all that stuff. But yeah, it's dialed in pretty nice. It went better than what I expected. Again, the hardest part of this was getting that thing to not bog right at tip in, because I'm serious, it would die. Like it would just die, kill the car. So, but clean ass car though. Like I said, the only thing I don't like is I don't like the hatch and stuff either. It doesn't, you can tell it doesn't line up, and just because this is a 91 92 hatch and this is a 89 body, so they so the 87, the 80 or the 89 IROC should have had a little ducktail spoiler across it. So like I said, not a bad car. That's nice. It's I gotta take the wideband out still. It's super clean. It's somebody spent some money on this damn thing. The interior is really nice. And looks like the original seats and stuff. I mean, that's not too bad for an 89. And I got the old boosted LT right here, so we'll do a video on that later. I'll do something. But anyway, thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, do all that YouTuber stuff. Leave a comment down below. Tell me what you like and what you don't like. Catch you guys on the next one.